Well, as the Morrison government scrambles to boost supply of COVID vaccine, there are growing calls for a nationwide advertising campaign to boost the rollout. Now, knowing how much government loves an ad campaign, I can't for the life of me understand why there isn't one there already. But of course, there's good ad campaigns that drive change. There's ones that end up being a colossal waste of money. So what should a good ad campaign look like in order to get the vaccine rollout moving? And this is advertising. Is that enough on its own? I know some are talking about incentives. I'm a bit lukewarm. Let's see what the experts think. Simon Collins is a creative director of an advertising and marketing firm, Collins and Partners. He joins me now from Sydney. Well, Simon, I've boosted you up here as a bit of an expert. You know advertising. I know political advertising, but you know about trying to motivate the Australian population. You've got some ideas for a national advertising campaign. Tell us more.
Well, the first thing I would say, Peter, is the government's had a lot of criticism about this, but what Scott Morrison would know from his previous career is that part of a successful marketing campaign is making sure that you don't create demand when there isn't a good supply. So whilst we've all been waiting to hear, one of the problems the government's had is knowing the volumes that are coming in. If they did a great big campaign promoting vaccination and everybody turned up and their GPs, they couldn't get the vaccines, then that would be a problem. That would be a backlash for them. Having said that, I'm very glad to see, I read in the paper this morning that there is some idea about doing a campaign, a national campaign. And I think this is one of the things that's been the problem for them from a public point of view. All the states have had this kind of autonomy about communication. This is one of the times when the population will look for central leadership, I think. All the media and all the coverage of the pandemic has felt happy to draw on analogies with war and wartime and battling the pandemic. Now, if Australia really was at war, the government in Canberra would not be delegating policies, to deal in a war with to the various states. So I think it is very timely that the federal government, does something. The question is, what should they do?
Yeah. Look, there was an astute comment you made about not going out to market with an advertising campaign if you can't meet demand, because There was statistics out the other day that the government's only spent $3 million. This is in the last 14 months, only $3 million on COVID advertisements, predominantly digital. Now, I know how much a political advertising campaign costs or a government advertising campaign. I can't believe it is that low. So your argument is that's the reason why they haven't gone out there to date. They say they will today. They say that in the media. We're not sure about the quantum they'll spend. I suspect it'll be across print, TV, radio, digital, the whole kit and caboodle. There was talk about celebrities. Do celebrities work for something like this?
Well, look, there's nothing essentially wrong with celebrities, except that in a campaign like this, what needs to happen is the public has to have ownership of the campaign. Traditionally, there are some parallels here, for example, with the campaign that I helped and worked on in 2016 with the Yes Marriage Equality vote. Now, there were a few celebrities involved in that, but the point there was that everybody knew that this was something that basically had to get done. It was something we had to get done. That was the line we used. Let's get it done. And yes, there were a few celebrities. Ian Thorpe was really helpful and various other people, but the real stars were the Australian public, because they were the ones who were going, who had to go and physically go and walk down the street and make the postal vote. This campaign is quite similar. We're asking people to actually go and do something. And the thing about celebrities is they can come back at you. For example, it's very typical in Australia to get a celebrity sports person. Now, we know that sports people and rock stars and millionaires, they're the people who have managed to either elude the rules or they've had exemptions for travel, so on and so forth. So if you stick somebody who's a top, rugby league player or something, or a tennis player or an Olympic athlete in a campaign saying, come on, people, I'm your role model, a lot of people might go, well, you haven't done the hard yards. This campaign, this pandemic has been, for every country like Australia, it's been a marathon. We've all done it. We've all been part of the marathon. And now, it's fantastic. The end is in sight. The finishing line is there. We need a campaign that says, look, we've done the hard yards together. We've all made sacrifices. We've all waited and we've been patient and we've been tolerant and we've done what we asked to do. We've done the lockdowns, we've done the masks. It doesn't really matter whether you think they work or not anymore. It doesn't really matter whether you think AstraZeneca or Pfizer works. The point is, we know we have to get this last stage done. So the campaign should be saying, let's now finish this. We've done all the hard yards. Let's finish it. It should be saying, let's get the job done. Or as I think the campaign line should be, let's get the jab done. Australia, let's get the jab done. And then we can get on with our lives. That's what it's all about, getting back to real life. And I don't think necessarily celebrities is the way to do it. I think getting Australians to show the hard yards that they've done, the sacrifices they've made, that's the way to do it.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more on celebrities. I think they backfire 9 times out of 10, but I like get the jab done. Simon Collins, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Peter.